Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back into the video day. And today, I'm going to be talking about the Houston Rockets potentially drafting Reed Sheppard. After getting the third overall pick, I'm talking about why the Houston Rockets should draft Reed Sheppard. I look at that third overall pick that the Rockets have, and I think there should be nobody else the Houston Rockets draft. And I'm going to get into that. I feel like he covers a lot of team needs that the Houston Rockets have. Ime Udoka has covered how he believes, they're looking for better, defensive players and better three-point shooters. And Reed Sheppard definitely brings the better three-point shooting. Reed Sheppard, 53% field goal percentage last season with Kentucky, 53.6 that's field goal percentage, 53% field goal percentage, 52.1% from three. 4.5 3-pointers attempted per game. He averaged 13 points per game. He averaged over 4 rebounds per game, which in my opinion is not bad at all for a 6'3 guard. He averaged over 4 assists per game at 4.5. And look, Rockets need defense. Sheppard averaged over 2.5 steals per game at 2.6 and almost 1 block per game at 0.8. So, Sheppard, good defense, good three-point shooting, good scoring. I got to say, two players he reminds me a little bit of, TJ McConnell and Austin Reeves. With three-point shooting reminds me a little bit of Austin Reeves, but defensively reminds me a little bit of TJ McConnell. I think he would be a really good addition for this Rockets team, and I think mainly because of three-point shooting. I look at, I've compared Nikola Jokic and Alperen Sengun a lot to the last couple of years, but one of the biggest things I've talked about what Jokic has and Sengun doesn't, and is why Jokic is such a great facilitator. Him being a talented player is not the only reason why he's a good facilitator and why he is able to help the Denver Nuggets get buckets. He has great three-point shooters around him. Denver has built a great team around Jokic. You have great three-point shooters and great scorers like Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon. Michael Porter Jr., the best one out of all of them at three-point shooting. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, another good three-point shooter. Justin Holiday, Christian Brown. Jokic has a lot of good scorers and shooters to get the ball to, and I don't see that with Alperen Sengun. Jalen Green is a good scorer, but at the same time, Jalen's creating all of his shots. Yes, I think Jalen could get a bucket or two that, Alp gets him the ball, but Jalen is creating, I would say, 75-80% of his buckets. Fred VanVleet, I feel like it's the same thing with him, although I think there are more chances for Sengun to, facilitate to Fred. And, Dylan, yes, but at the same time, Dylan is very inefficient scoring the basketball wise. And I feel like the same thing you can say for Jabari Smith Jr. But I really think you've got to build this team more around Sengun and getting him better three-point shooters. And this team was not great at three-point shooting last year. A lot better compared to the 2022-23 season. The 2022-23, you couldn't get much worse. You were like 29th or 30th in the NBA. So you couldn't get much worse, but it was a lot better than it was, but it still was not good or as good as the Rockets want it to be. So I think it's three-point shooting and defense, but I think three-point shooting, number one, has to be something the Rockets are thinking about, improving on all offseason. I think it's something they're going to look at when free agency nears, when the draft nears, and potentially making trades. And that's why I think Reed Sheppard is, number one on their big board, in my opinion. He's on basically most mock drafts so far have Reed Sheppard from Kentucky going to Houston. I've seen some where Donovan Clingan is going to the Rockets. I don't see that fit, to be honest. This is the fact you got Sengun, and not only do you have Sengun, but you have Steven Adams. So what are we going to draft a backup center? At number 3, because I don't see moving Alp to the 4. I don't think that's a good spot for him. So I just don't see. Would Clingan maybe play the 4? Wembanyama's 7'3", 7'4", and plays the 4, but I think he's a better shooter. He's a little bit of has a better jump shot and can play the 4 a little bit more than Clingan potentially would. And also Wembanyama also played a little bit at 5. I mean, I think if the Rockets would have got the first overall pick last year and would have got Wembanyama, I think that you would have seen, Şengün to remain at the 5, and Wembanyama would play at the 4, and then potentially you see Jabari Smith Jr. at the 3, and it would just be a huge lineup. But that didn't happen. But I think in this scenario, if the Rockets draft Klingon, I think he would come off the bench. He would not start, and I don't think he would start for a while. So I think that's a waste of a draft pick if you're going to draft someone who's going to come off the bench. Definitely would make a big impact off the bench, defensively, scoring the basketball, rebounding. But is it worth to draft someone top 4 that is going to come off the bench for maybe or you could use him as a trade asset, maybe. I don't know. But I think Reed Sheppard helps the team out the most with the team needs of defense and 3-point shooting. So I think he's the best fit for the Rockets. Let me know your thoughts, and peace out. Go Rockets.